This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Back to normal.
No spooky Halloween month stuff.
Yeah. Did I say everything that I was supposed to?
I don't know.
It seemed weird. I might have forgotten the name of the show. No, I said the name of it. Yeah, I think I did everything. It's just I'm so used to Halloween month.
People know. I think we should cut out announcing the show.
No, a lot of times, Tim, this podcast comes on the radio and people don't know what it is, but they really like it. And they write in later. They tell us, like, oh, yeah, I was listening to the radio. Thank God you guys.
It took me forever to figure out what it was.
I had to listen to a whole episode. Wait for the next one. You guys finally said the name of the show.
Yeah. I think we should just jump into it.
Yeah. All right, maybe.
Yeah. None of this preamble. People see the name of the show. They see the episode
the preamble
title.
Takes seconds, Tim. Mere seconds.
Yeah, but Tom, all this pageantry, it's unnecessary.
Yeah, but
if we cut all the unnecessary pageantry out of our lives, could you imagine how much time we'd save?
Yeah, walking around like fucking robots? That's what you want?
That's what you want.
That's not what I want. You always accuse me of wanting everybody to turn into cyborgs or something.
Well, yeah, Tom.
Just because I like computers more than you do.
You like more than computers. You want to. You like more than computers. Tom, admit it.
Sick son of a bitch.
Admit it.
You like mainframes and servers.
You love the cloud.
Mm-hmm. Which Tim,
cloud computing.
The cloud
Tom?
is just other people's computers.
Yeah. Hell is other people's computers. Is what I say. You want to walk around with tech on your face, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I want like glasses unless they're really cool and good.
If Apple came out with an implant.
Yeah. No, nah, not implant.
No.
I don't think I'd ever do like, well, continue. What does it do? Does it have like a defensive purposes in some way? This implant?
You made like a Spider-Man move. Like
I made like a move like
a
a gun would come out of my hand if I needed it.
I don't think so. I was thinking more of a chip in your brain
okay.
to help you.
I was thinking like a total arm replacement that could turn into a sword or like a gun if I needed it.
You said like, oh, I don't want to put glasses on, but like you would like an augmented reality where it's like, oh, I can like see the menu of a restaurant as I'm walking by it.
I mean, you could do that if they have the menu posted.
That's what I say to you, and you're like, no, but you could have it digitally on your eyes.
I mean, you can just look at it on your phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, you and I aren't so different after all.
Here's what I think about like technology wear on your face. I think it will have. I mean, it already has. But
and we're not talking about a nose ring with a cool LED light on it.
We're not talking about some kind of Bluetooth nose ring, some Bluetooth septum piercing. As cool as that does sound.
It is.
No, I think computers on your face will have big implications in like work stuff. Like people that need to like have information while they're looking at other things. Mm-hmm. I think that will like continue to become like a bigger thing. But I think, yeah, the idea of just like walking down the street with it, like what is it going to do for you that like just looking at your phone wouldn't?
Yeah, that's what I feel like too.
I mean, again, unless they're cool and it can show you like big arrows where everything is. And if it can put ads everywhere. That'd be neat.
That's what I want. Well, that's how it remains free, Tom.
Yeah. Well, and how else am I going to learn about products and services I might be interested in?
Tom, now that we're on the same page about this, I have a segment that I want, and I think this might be good. I think this might allow us to find some common ground.
Okay. Is the name of the segment Common Ground?
No. No, because I want it to be more confrontational than that.
Okay.
Maybe it could. Well, depending on how it goes, I expect pushback on these.
Okay. Oh. Well, what's the name of the segment? Just like rile up Tom? Or
no. I don't even think he'll care. And I might have brought one of these up like a week ago on the show. So you have to keep me honest here.
Tim, I don't remember what happened a week ago on this show.
Write in completeguideeverything@gmail.com if this is like the same thing I did a week ago. The segment Tim Takes.
Okay.
They're like hot takes,
Okay.
but they're
No,
hotter.
it's not my week to edit, or else right now I'd be putting the new rules music underneath.
Dun, dun,
Ding,
dun,
ding, ding.
dun, 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 dun. I think it is your week to edit, by the way. But
Is it? All right.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't want the new rule. Tom, these takes are so hot.
Uh-huh.
They'll melt the skin right off your hands, and then you'll have a skeleton hand.
That hot. Wow. So like
Yeah.
lava,
Like lava.
but not hot enough to burn bone.
Not if you have titanium bones.
I don't.
You didn't get the Apple titanium implants?
No.
Ah.
I should look into it.
Okay, I got 2 Tim takes this week, Tom.
Okay.
And, maybe I'll do this every
Two
week.
Tim takes this week, Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1.
Really testing out our pop filters.
Tom, I've been watching a lot of nationally broadcasted sports events, right?
Uh-huh, yeah.
I'm not talking local sporting events with
Are you
local
the
announcers.
World Series? Is that
Yeah,
what
the
you're talking-
baseball
yeah,
playoffs.
You can mention.
And also like some football games, right? That
Okay.
are like, like Monday Night Football.
Uh-huh.
And,
You just like the song. Are you ready for some
I
football?
just like Hank Williams III.
Yeah.
They changed it. It's a lady now. It's like Shania Twain, but then it turned into like a more hip lady, I think.
Oh, then Shania Twain?
Yeah, I think there's like
Hard to
a
imagine.
it's football night in America.
I'm catching a ball, then
And
I'm
the
throwing
eagle
it back.
flies. Yeah. And trotting around and in a cowboy hat.
Okay.
All right, so I've been watching games.
Uh-huh.
And you hear people complain on the internet and in person sometimes. I mean, they're like, these announcers,
Yeah.
they're so biased for one team. It's like the announcers are rooting for one team over another. You hear this? Like, there's like Dodgers fans are saying that about like the announcers.
Because
Like,
it's national announcers,
so
right?
they're supposed to be like nonpartisan or whatever.
Right.
My
It's
thing is-
not the normal Normally, teams have their own announcers,
Yeah, and you
which
expect,
you know that they're
like
in the
if you're
bag
listening
for 'em.
to like
But the
John
same
Sterling and Susan Waldman on the radio, like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna be in the tank for the Yankees, so they're
But
gonna be like,
those-
"Oh, Aaron Judge, he did it!" You know?
Yeah, but those same announcers too, like they can be harsh on their own teams if they're like upset with the way
Yeah,
things
exactly.
are going.
They're more
like fans.
emotionally invested.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
My thing is
Mm-hmm.
people are always complaining like, "Oh, you can tell Bob Costas is rooting for so and so." By the way, like
Mm-hmm.
it's ridiculous. The Tim take is, who cares?
Yeah, he's not the ump.
Yeah, he's not the
He
umpire.
can't affect what's happening on the field.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So mute it. Why? I don't know. Put on a Frank Zappa record.
While you're watching the game?
Yeah, that'd
Wow.
be subversive, man.
Oh
right?
man, imagine somebody came in, they'd be like, "What the heck's going on in this room?"
Yeah.
Football
I see
and
a
Frank
football- Yeah,
Zappa?
you hear hot rats, but I see Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. And then
Talk about a hot rat, huh?
yeah. And then they say, "Well, I'll show you why," and turn the sound. Oh, Bob Costas, he's so biased. He
Yeah.
loves the Yankees.
Okay, so we found common ground on that Tim take.
Yeah, yeah.
That's also a Tom take, it seems.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous to expect that they don't have biases. Have you been following any of this while we're talking football? Stuff about what's his name? That he's calling games now, Tom Brady, and he can't.
Couple of
criticize-
sportos here. We should start we should transition this to a full-time sports podcast. The only guys we can think of are Bob Costas and struggling to remember Tom Brady's.
It's like, the big guy, the guy we all know, the guy whose face I can see in my head right now, but can't say his name. Because he is part owner of the Raiders, I believe, a small owner. He is when he broadcasts games, he is not allowed to criticize the referees.
Right.
And it's like, all right, then pick a fucking lane, pal. Own a football team or get paid a ton of money to call games.
Yeah. I mean, I'm more shocked that that is an actual rule that they're willing to enforce, right?
Yeah.
against Tom Brady, football Jesus, right? Where it's just like
just let him break the rules.
In a society where increasingly it's like, hey, you got enough clout? Okay, literally no rules apply to you.
I'll tell you what he couldn't do. He couldn't stop his ex-wife's boyfriend from getting her pregnant.
Yeah.
Because now she's pregnant. And he knows jiu-jitsu?
Usually he should stop that. Your stance as a man should be able to prevent an ex from...
you should be able to camp outside.
All right, that's an interesting...
But he's been too busy.
Interesting stance.
No, he just said they can't stop him. And I was like, well, I'll tell you one thing. He didn't have power over that. Otherwise, I think he probably would have been like...
Tom Brady's looking more and more powerless in my eyes. He's juiceless.
Yeah. Well, I think he's still drinking all those juices in the morning to keep him
I don't know.
Peak physical condition.
I'm sure there's a very specific...
He's such a weird-looking guy, too.
He is. That's the thing.
Yeah.
When people become rich enough and in shape enough, they start to look too angular.
Yeah.
Everybody gets
he's
angular.
Got like sunken cheeks.
Yeah.
It's like you're a football player. Have a chicken pot pie or something. Relax.
Everybody starts looking weird once they start doing really well.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, now
I can't watch late season Friends.
Now his ex-wife is pregnant, and he can't talk about the umps or the referees in games.
Sports podcast.
Maybe he will start letting himself go a little bit. And honestly, I think it would serve him well. I think he could do with letting himself go a little bit.
Hey, you heard it. Hey, Tom, if you're listening, Tom Brady.
Yeah, I'm listening.
From one Tom to another.
Yeah.
Start letting yourself go.
Just
it's
a little
fine.
bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. You don't have to go crazy, but come on, relax.
Or go crazy.
Yeah, whatever. Who
Have
cares?
a lost weekend.
You can be on TV calling football games and own a football team and be a big fat guy. In fact, that's like expected of you at a certain point.
Yeah.
What was your second Tim take?
I got a Tim take. Tom, this is the one that tell me if you've heard this one before.
Okay.
Because I think about this frequently. Tim take. There's a celebrity death.
Uh-huh.
Right? And then we got social media here. And it's not the Pope died.
Right.
It's not like particularly newsworthy except for
it's not like a shocking death. It's not a suspicious death.
And somebody either makes an oblique reference to it on social media.
Yeah.
Or God forbid a joke about it, right? Or about that person.
Yeah.
And somebody replies with, man, this is the way I found out that Terry Garr died. Yeah, how were you expecting to find out that Terry Garr died? Did you expect it to be like somebody like...
I expected to get a call from her family.
Yeah, your priest comes in and it's just like, I'd like you to sit down. I have something to tell you.
Yeah.
The lady from Young Frankenstein and Mr. Mom unfortunately passed. And like Terry Garr is great, but like, if you found out because somebody was like, man, rewatching... Young Frankenstein, what a great movie.
Stay Tuned as well.
Was she in Stay Tuned?
I think she was the mom in Stay Tuned, yeah.
We used to have Ritter and Gar inside the TV. And now that's the only place we can find them.
Yeah.
Living inside of our TVs.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like I don't think you talked about this last week, but again, I don't know.
Yeah,
I couldn't even remember that.
I don't know, nor do I care.
that you edited last week. But I agree with you. I've had that happen to me where I've like made a joke about, not even like a joke, just like a...
like even just like a reference. Just like even like, man, like...
yeah.
This guy was a big part of my childhood, whatever. Yeah. It's like, all right.
I can't believe this. I find out.
And then somebody's like, I find out from some podcaster I follow on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you find things out. It's 2024.
Work in the New York Times newsroom and you were expecting to learn from somebody else sooner?
Do you think the newspaper the obituary writers, they get like, people sending in obituaries, but then also people being like, I can't believe I found out that this guy died through the newspaper of all places.
I thought you were going to ask, do you think the guy who writes the obituaries every day goes, this is how I find out? Tim, this week we're talking dinos. Dinosaurs. Were you a big dinosaurs kid?
I was not. That was going to be my question to you. Yeah, you seem like you probably were.
I think as much as the next kid. I don't think I was like especially into dinosaurs, but I think like every kid goes through a dinosaur phase at some point.
Yeah.
Right?
I was never, and I think this is my personality, I never went like too deep on anything where it was like, oh, you know how like the cliche is like you ask a 4-year-old something about a dinosaur and they know like the era that it was in, like whether it was like a carnivore or an herbivore or an omnivore, and like
facts about it.
Yeah, I never knew any of that shit, and I didn't really care. I was just like, I guess like they were big. I liked Jurassic Park when it came out when I was like 12.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I guess I like T-Rexes a lot. Not T-Rexes, Triceratops a lot. I remember thinking that was like a cool dinosaur. Maybe because I thought like the other ones, I'm like, I don't know, they might be bullshitting us about the other ones.
I liked a Stegosaurus.
Okay.
Because I recall this Stegosaurus. Yeah, I would always get the Stegosaurus and Triceratops confused.
Because I feel like those guys too, they were like, it's like kind of like a hippo or an elephant.
Yeah.
Like I can wrap my head around that.
But with Stegosaurus, it's got
the plates.
Yeah. Like cool spikes. And the Triceratops has those horns.
Yeah.
And that weird crown thing.
Yeah, but like rhinos have horns.
Yeah.
Makes you think.
Really makes you think.
But I think rhino horns are made out of hair. Like the same material, the same material that like keratin, that like your hair and fingernails are made out of. I think that's why they can like saw off a rhino horn and it doesn't kill it, because it's not like part of its bones.
Yeah, it still makes me sad though.
Yeah, but they do it in the wild nowadays.
They need to.
Yeah, so poachers don't kill them, and because they're not gonna sedate the animal to take their horn. But
I'm going to take a firm anti-poacher stance on this podcast. Hey, that's another Tim take.
Yeah. Hey, get out of here, poachers. But you're still into big game hunting yourself.
Big game hunting? Oh, myself, yeah.
You don't like that the poachers get to do it for free.
No, you should have to pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, you pay for those licenses. You grease the right wheels to go hunt endangered species.
Somebody gives me the gun and aims it for me. And
puts on a tripod and says, sir, just come over here and squeeze the trigger.
Yeah.
And then, oh, great shot, sir. Oh, my.
When I get an awesome photograph.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say I'm against poachers, too.
All right. Hey, there's another common ground.
Yeah. Now, would you be against hunting dinosaurs if they brought dinosaurs back?
No.
Jurassic Park.
You know what? A la Jurassic World, where like the dinosaurs get out.
Right. No, I'm saying if they made like a Jurassic Park, but it was like a hunting preserve.
Oh, I wouldn't be for that at all. Would you? You would want to just create dinosaurs just so we could hunt them?
Well,
and you're just like, screw them. They shouldn't have been born.
Well, they're an abomination against God if they're being born, by splicing the
you know
DNA
what I would do? I'd
hunt
the scientists.
Yeah,
I'd go right to that InGen lab and, shoot that DNA guy with the cowboy hat. Man, Jurassic Park was such a good movie.
That DNA guy with the cowboy hat.
Did he win an Oscar for that role?
I don't think he did win an Oscar for that role.
Huh.
Did Jurassic Park win Oscars?
Probably some
For
visual effects.
Yeah. Should have gotten Best Picture.
Was that the year? Like, that and Schindler's List came out the same year, right?
Oh, maybe, yeah. That's
hell of a year for old.
And quite a tonal
Stevie.
shift between
Yeah.
the two. Yeah.
Also, Dumb and Dumber came out that year.
Have you seen?
Wait, no, that was 93.
Yeah, I think Dumb and Dumber.
94 was Jim Carrey's big year
Yeah.
of Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, and The Mask.
That's. I mean, what an
When
insane
are we
run.
ever going to see that again?
You're never going to see that again. Somebody come out with 3 comedy movies that are like all pretty different. Well, I mean, yeah, pretty different.
Yeah.
He's playing like very extroverted type wacky characters, but they're still
half
different.
the time in The Mask when he's I wouldn't call Stanley Ipkiss particularly outgoing.
That's
Tom.
true, Tim.
I wouldn't say he's a real chatterbox.
Yeah, no, he's very shy until he gets that mask on.
Yeah, well then all hell breaks loose. Oh,
then
Jesus
he's
Christ.
begging for somebody to stop him. And nobody has, not yet.
Nobody could.
No. Yeah, what a run. Hey, to Jim Carrey.
To Jim Carrey, 30 his miracle run 30 years ago this year.
I mean, that's why we're still talking about him.
He wrote himself a check for $1 million.
Yeah. I mean, because then he's had some good, more serious type roles, like Eternal Sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care for Man on the Moon, but I get what
You
he was
didn't.
doing there.
He did a great Andy Kaufman, though.
Yeah. I guess I like the movie fine. I've just never been a huge Andy Kaufman fan.
Yeah.
So like it didn't appeal to me in that way. Like I get, like, I respect Andy Kaufman. I get what he was doing, but
There'd be no Jerry Seinfeld without Andy Kaufman.
Oh no.
That's what inspired
That was the
him.
first thing that made him ask what's the deal?
Yeah. He's like,
What's the deal with this guy?
Yeah.
He's up there. He's a comedian. He's not making any jokes. Maybe I should be a comedian.
You got it, Tom. I went and revisited on the first episode of Saturday Night Live, the Mighty Mouse thing.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I know it's like stupid and high concept or whatever, but his like
Yeah,
what I think a lot of
performed
people
it very well.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people lose when they try to do like that type of comedy is like you do have to still be funny. And the one part where he like almost says it and it's not the right part and he like tries to play it off like he didn't.
Yeah, like
and
that.
like him concentrating very hard, like very good.
That's like Mr. Bean-esque, like just universal comedy that anybody can get.
Right.
You liked when he wrestled with all those women too,
I
right?
did. I liked that a lot.
And he beat them all in the ring.
Yeah, I did enjoy that.
Why we start talking about Andy? Oh, we were talking about Jim Carrey's phenomenal run.
Yeah.
But he's never really like done another like. What other big comedies has he had? I know I'm forgetting
The
some.
Cable Guy, which is a great movie.
Yeah, but that was at the time was a bomb.
Yeah.
But I would also include that in the like, okay, he's starting to do like weirder stuff.
Liar, Liar, underrated
Yeah.
film. That's like classic.
You, Me, and
Jim Carrey.
Irene.
Me, Myself, and Irene. The Truman Show, but again, that's serious.
Yeah.
Man on the Moon. The Grinch, the Majestic, Bruce, like, yeah, Eternal Sunshine, Series of Unfortunate Events. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, you know what? Here's a great run.
Mm-hmm.
Fun with Dick and Jane, right into the number 23, right into Yes Man.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow. Talk about tonal shifts. Well, Tim, speaking of big runs. How about the Dinosaurs run? How about their reign, Tim? It was incredibly long.
It was longer than Humans is going to be.
Yeah, almost certainly. Dinosaurs ruled the earth for around 165 million years, from the Triassic Age, about 230 million years ago, to the end of the Cretaceous Age, 66 million years ago. For perspective, humans have only been around for about 200,000 years.
Yeah.
I think about that humans being around for 200,000 years thing all the time. Just because it seems insane that we haven't gotten further, but at the same time, it's like only 200,000 years. Like before that, there was just...
What do you mean insane that we haven't gotten further?
200,000 years is a long... Think about what things will be like 200,000 years from now.
Won't involve us, I'll tell you that much.
Well,
and not even the two of us here. It's humans. We're not gonna last.
Tim, what if I told you I have a way to guarantee that you will? It's a freezer that I have set up to a battery backup that promises it will keep us cold for 200,000 years, and we can pop back out. No, I don't know. It's a weird... I don't know.
I like how long you kept talking after you wanted to stop talking.
I don't know what an appropriate amount of time would be for... I just feel like 200,000 years, it's like, well, we certainly didn't hit the ground running.
Well, what do you mean?
Because it's only been like, 20,000 years that we've had like civilizations? So before then, it was just 190,000 years of dicking around?
Tom, the dinosaurs were around for 135 million years.
Yeah, and they
never even learned how to talk.
That's true. They didn't get a lot done.
Did they have iPhones?
We don't know. They might have talked. They might have had iPhones.
They probably didn't have iPhones.
But they may have talked. Yeah. You have to admit, they may have talked. But yeah, I watched an interesting video the other day on YouTube. I forget what it was called. What?
I'm not going to make the joke I was going to make. About the interesting video you watched on YouTube.
And were you going to say like some disgusting video?
No.
Were you going to say Debbie Does Dallas?
Yeah. Were you watching Debbie Does Dallas?
They have that on YouTube?
Maybe, probably.
Yeah, it's probably tame nowadays. It's on YouTube Kids.
There's some messed up stuff on YouTube too.
I would not trust, like, it seems like YouTube Kids is still like based on the honor system or something.
You know what the thing about YouTube Kids is?
What's that?
Like, I use YouTube Kids. We let my son watch one video.
While he's pooping.
No, God, we're not starting that. Like, while we get him dressed in the
yeah,
that's
like
his incentive
bribe,
to like be like, okay, stop playing.
Undecent behavior.
Yeah.
Stay still.
Yeah, and we like it's got to be a 4-minute long video or less, and like he gets to pick it out or whatever. You know how many videos there are of just grown men playing with toys?
Oh no, I don't know. I figured there
and
were
you
a
never
lot
see their faces.
Oh, okay,
like,
just a hand.
But it's just like, oh hey, Johnny from Paw Patrol. Oh hey, Buzz Lightyear. Hey, let's jump. It's a way for them to like.
Sounds pretty good.
Make and monetize like Disney content.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know how like.
Well, and to enable crossovers that may not have existed.
Yeah, But I don't know how, like, you see all these news stories in the 90s. You see all these. 30 years ago, you saw these news stories about daycare center painted Goofy on the wall.
Yeah.
And Disney came and firebombed their...
Yeah.
But, like, they're monetizing these videos on YouTube where it's just like, here's all the Disney characters.
Yeah, but they're like showing toys that then kids are gonna want to go buy. Yeah. Whereas like a painting a Goofy on the wall, you can't go buy that at Walmart or whatever.
Well, if it's a Banksy, then you sell it for $1 billion.
Has Banksy ever done Goofy?
He's probably done some sort. He did Dismal Land,
right?
Dismal World or whatever.
Yeah, he did like the
whole,
sad Disney thing. Yeah, so there's probably some Goofy content in there. Probably got his take on on the Goofster.
Man, who is Banksy?
Anyway,
what is it? It's a guy from like one of those bands or something.
Yeah,
that,
it's a guy
like you've heard about. And it's like, oh, I've heard about that. I read about that band in the '90s and never listened to them.
Yeah. I think that's what it's been like.
I mean, that's more
to.
satisfying than like, who's the Zodiac killer? It's like, it was Ben Davidson.
No, it was Arthur Lee Allen.
Yeah, just a guy.
Yeah, but I mean, like a bad guy. He was the Zodiac killer.
Yeah.
Would you have? You would have.
Who's worse, Banksy or the Zodiac killer?
You would have felt better if the Zodiac killer was revealed to be like, I don't know, like somebody in the Grateful Dead at the time.
Yeah, right. Because at least it's
that way. I mean, it would have been
it's
crazy.
like, oh, who was Jack the Ripper? Oh, we have new evidence who Jack the Ripper was. And it's some guy that I've never heard of from hundreds of years ago.
Well, there's a new special about the Zodiac killer on Netflix. And it like really goes into the evidence for Arthur Lee Allen, and it's like,
was he the guy from Zodiac?
From
that was
Zodiac,
played by that character actor.
Yeah.
I guess that's everybody in Zodiac.
Yeah, except for like the big.
There's
famous
movie
people.
star. It's like the biggest movie stars plus the best character actor.
Yeah,
what a film!
And it's a great movie. Hey, if you haven't seen Zodiac, check it out.
You heard it here first in the Dinosaurs episode.
That's your local rental store, and ask them to start stocking Zodiac. But yeah, it's a pretty good special where it goes into so much detail and paints this like insane picture kind of like there was never hard evidence that this was him. But look at all the circumstantial evidence. It had to have been him.
Right.
How could it have not been him? Anyway, I watched this video about dinosaurs, and it was about like
Earl Sinclair.
No,
Charlene,
Tim.
Robbie,
These
baby Sinclair. I've watched those videos too. They're pretty.
These videos, dinosaurs didn't even have names.
What?
They didn't know how to talk yet. But it was about an interesting question, which is like a thing I had maybe not really thought about before, which was, okay, so like everybody's pretty sure a meteor killed the dinosaurs, right?
Right.
Like the same meteor
Gary Larson doesn't think so.
The same meteor. Yeah, he thinks it was smoking.
Yeah, he does.
Same.
Somebody had a mug about it.
The same meteor that I like created the Gulf of Mexico, I think, is like what they think killed the dinosaurs.
Oh, wow.
But this video is about like, okay, so that happened. How long did it actually take the dinosaurs to die, though? Because like it didn't just kill all life on Earth, obviously, because shit's still around. And then you see shit like, sharks and alligators. And
they hit underwater.
Yeah, we know they hit underwater. But it's like we know things survive. Those guys have been around since back then. And it was interesting because basically there are some people that think it was like, oh, they were around for like another 200,000 years. But then a lot of other people think like, nah, it's like 15 years before pretty much all like some dinosaurs turned into birds.
As they do, yeah.
But again, it's like they turned into birds before then or after then, because then there were dinosaurs around. Well, a lot of unanswered questions still based on this 10-minute video I watched. But I don't know. I don't know. Like, I never really thought about, like, oh, yeah, the dinosaurs weren't just wiped out. Like, the ones nearby, yeah, they were vaporized.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, if you were on the other side of the planet as a dinosaur, you were like, it got dark out, but I'm going to keep doing my thing.
Maybe it's too dark.
Well, that's what they said.
Got scared to death.
They don't think that many dinosaurs got scared to death, but they do think that.
Yeah, but they don't know.
Like herbivores died out because the plants died out,
Yeah.
and for a little while the carnivores are like, "This is sick. Like everybody's dead, and it's an all-you-can-eat buffet." But that doesn't last forever, and then they're like, "Ah, shit! Now we're gonna die."
They just start eating each other.
That it might have come to that.
That's sick. Tyrannosaurus Rex, carnivore?
Yes.
Okay. I thought maybe that was one of those.
Like a trick question, like like an omnivore.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've also heard about.
It only ate parsley.
I've also heard about in the animal kingdom, Tim, that like a lot of animals that are herbivores are not when they're starving. Like that they will eat if that's the only thing available to them. They'll
Yeah,
eat
of course.
Yeah.
But you can't judge somebody from when
I'm
they're
not
at
saying
their
you judge them. I wasn't suggesting these animals made some kind of moral decision about why they're herbivores.
You know what? I had a dream last night, Tom.
Uh-huh.
You know, me, famous vegetarian.
Yeah.
I had a dream that I just walked into a McDonald's and ordered a Big Mac. And I didn't even, I woke up before I ate it.
Oh, but you got it? You like waited for it and
Yeah.
like picked it up and you're like, oh, all right, a nice Big Mac.
Yeah, and I woke up and I was like kind of pissed about it. I was like, Tim, you can go get a Big Mac anytime. There's a McDonald's half a mile from your house. Like,
yeah.
just go do it if you want to do it. Otherwise, just shut the fuck up about it.
You were screaming this at like
in the mirror.
yeah, like 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you gonna get a Big Mac?
No.
Have you seen they have chicken Big Macs now?
Yeah, I heard it's not that great.
Yeah. Did you hear that from Report of the Week?
No, I've heard. Well, among other places, I watch it. I'm more well informed about how tasty new fast food items are than I am about anything else. Like I consume more
90% of them.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, you like to keep your finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
It's good. Keeps you from getting old.
What do you think about the chicken Big Mac? Did you have it?
I've not had it, but I
they're not. This is what makes me want to have it.
Okay.
Because they're not like a McChicken.
Yeah.
They're like a big chicken nugget, the way that they make the.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, that changes everything. The Report of the Week said it wasn't good though.
Yeah. Everybody said like it's too bland.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, because I guess the burger kind of adds like a salty, peppery flavor in there.
I don't know. The Big Mac is.
And like McDonald's
perfect.
chicken doesn't have like it's the crispy part's good, but it doesn't have like a ton of
The chicken
flavor.
nuggets are good though. The fact that somebody was like, "Oh, this is just like a big chicken nugget," it's like,
yeah. So it's like crispy on the outside, like that.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah,
It's
I mean
like
that's
battered instead of breaded.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, I mean that makes me more interested to try.
Yeah.
I thought they were literally just putting whatever patties.
No,
they
that'd
had.
be way too much chicken.
Yeah, and I thought that was
Because
the
like the
complaint.
Big Mac, like the burger patties
Yeah.
are minuscule.
Right.
They're like 3 ounces.
I think these patties might still be bigger though, and that might be part of the complaint. Anyway, Tim, you want to guess how long the longest dinosaur was?
In feet.
Yeah,
Or-
in feet.
I got this book. My son has this book. He's 3. And it shows dinosaurs like and like sometimes it's
next to like a
like
shadow
a
of a
bus.
man. Oh.
Yeah, like a shadow of a man, a shadow of a bus.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say the longest dinosaur was like 200 feet long.
200.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what this book said?
No, that's my
Oh,
guess
okay.
based on.
I was
like-
gonna say no. What I read was over 100 feet long.
Okay, so that could be 200.
Argentino.
I was trying to show off by saying a much larger number than you would expect.
Argentinosaurus, over 100 feet long, possibly weighed up to 100 tons, making it one of the largest animals to ever walk on Earth. You ever hear about how they tell us like blue whales are the biggest animals that have ever existed, or biggest mammals that have ever? But biggest animal, maybe.
I don't. Hear
Maybe
stuff
that's
like
why.
this. I don't have my ear to the ground.
I feel like they say it's the biggest animal that's ever existed, and I always think like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Around now, you picked the worst time to be around blue whales
Why?
because we're throwing all our garbage in the ocean.
Yeah, that's more food for the blue whale.
No,
They
yeah,
can eat
some of
whatever. They're
it.
like goats. They can eat all the tin cans. We should get more blue whales. What we should be focusing on is getting that blue whale population up.
Well, they should put more of them in
Feeding them all our
captivity.
tin cans. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can you, off the top of your head, look at me, name 5 dinosaurs?
Oh, okay. 5 dinosaurs. T-Rex,
Uh-huh.
Stegosaurus, Triceratops, Bronchiosaurus, raptor.
Raptor they just invented in the 90s, by the way.
Velociraptor. Yeah, I mean, the Velociraptor...
I did research.
Tim just pulled out a children's book. Not even a like a board
so it's
book.
A board book.
Yeah, a picture book of.
It's called
dinosaur.
Roar. But look at all these.
Oh, that's a lot of dinosaurs. Yeah.
Tom, have you heard of a Kentrosaurus?
No.
Or a Lielinosaura?
Is that like a person?
Nope.
But like,
or a Compsognathus?
No, I don't
or
think.
A
oh, maybe because are those the
Pachycephalosaurus?
well, are one of those the compies from Jurassic
Oh
Park?
Yeah, that was Compy. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, they were like the little scavenger guys.
What my point here is what they're teaching these kids, like with board books.
Yeah.
Are all these like?
Oh, they got the hipsters right in the dinosaur.
Well,
books
they're ones
now.
that I've done. No, I think we've just like they did. I know they're gonna say.
Did the old dinosaurs get canceled? Did they find something out about T-Rex and now they're like, well,
the T-Rex is in here, but he's like in the mix. He's not like the king shit like he should be.
Well, some old tweets resurfaced.
They like. I feel like they're gonna tell me, people are gonna write in like, oh, the raptor wasn't invented in 1993. It was like nobody knew about raptors until 1993, and then like since then they've just been ramping it up, and they're like, here's
they got
all these other
their own team.
Yeah, the raptors, but like the
paleontologists,
paleontologists,
the raptors.
The paleontologists have been ramping it up. No, you wish.
Yeah.
They've been like the Ross Gellers of the world are out there being like, oh, here's a new one, and they have increasingly difficult names to say.
Yeah.
And I know in a year my son is going to be like running circles. Oh, do you know about a Corythosaurus?
Yeah, he's going to be like, oh, T-Rex.
Ankylosaurus.
T-Rex is basic, Dad. What do you think dinosaur paleontologists think of the character of Ross Geller? Do you think they think it portrays them?
Friends. Ross from Friends.
Yeah. Do you think they think it portrays them in a negative light? Because he's like kind of a loser. He's a sad sack in it. He's not a loser, but he's a sad sack.
It's so funny that
he's a sad sack simp
who becomes he gets like Flanderized into like a sad sack loser.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but like they still keep him as the underlying, like, this is the relationship that you're going to have the emotional connection to. And the last scene of the series is going to be like him getting the girl.
But I mean, it worked. Like that, people loved that shit. People were tuning in.
Yeah. It's just,
Well, I was going to say, do you think paleontologists think, it portrayed us as like sad sacks and whatever. And like borderline stalkers, or do you think they think, hey, he hooked up with Jennifer Aniston? They get married in the end, or at some point get married and get divorced?
They got together. Yeah, they got married, and then he was supposed to get it annulled, and he didn't. A lot of problematic behavior from Ross Geller.
Yeah. But so that's the question. Do you think that paleontologists can't see past that problematic behavior, or they're like...
Well, here's the other thing about paleontologists. Like, it's not like they're like they made Ross out to be a loser, like by like his friends in the show.
Yeah.
In universe, they were like, what a stupid job you have.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, if you knew a paleontologist, you'd be like, that's the coolest goddamn job ever. Yeah. They're walking around... These guys are walking around walking on sunshine, these guys.
Well, and it's like...
And ladies.
It's not like anybody on that show. He had like the bet. He was the only one with like a real career on that show, I feel like. Like Joey couldn't... he had to move out to L.A. finally after the show was over. But like all of them just kind of like, I don't know, bounced around from things. But it's like, this guy like went to school and...
had a passion.
Yeah, and didn't he like work at the Natural History Museum or something?
And he was a professor at NYU as well.
Oh, he's doing great.
Yeah.
Stop making fun of him, you mean dickheads. You know what? I'm siding with the paleontologists on this one.
Me too. I'm usually siding with the paleontologists. You should have heard about this.
Then let me ask you this, Tim. Do you think they always put those bones together right?
I think the bones thing is kind of a scam.
That Satan put them there to trick us?
I don't think it was Satan, but I think like a lot of times.
But I do think somebody put them there.
Here's what I think. I think that sometimes you go, like I was recently at the Natural History Museum. Mm-hmm. The Museum of Natural History in New York City, New York. Mm-hmm. And like,
which is like, I was there a couple of years ago and like, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal museum.
Yeah.
But you see these they put together all these bones, mm-hmm. and then like you start to see like, oh, these aren't all
like
fossils.
Some are missing that they're like, we made some
even
bones.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like they're missing and you see an incomplete dinosaur.
Like, no, we
it's
just
like,
made some.
Yeah, we know what the bones were, so we just made
they got a bone like this on this side. Yeah. We figured probably the same on the other side.
So I'm in the middle of the museum screaming, horse shit! Horse shit, this is a whole dinosaur.
Let me take a crack at putting it together. Maybe it's wrong. But that has happened a few times where they've like been like, it was a new dinosaur. Then they're like, it was two dinosaurs.
We had this piece upside down.
Yeah. It's fascinating that we know anything about dinosaurs, but like it does always.
We thought this dinosaur wore a hat. And it turns out the hat was from just like another hat.
It belonged to a different dinosaur.
It belonged to just a guy.
A guy from
a modern guy.
Well, in some ways, that makes more sense. In some ways, it makes less. You
know what? I don't think the Flintstones is a particularly
accurate
portrayal, or a particularly like funny show. But their pet dinosaur called Dino is a pretty good, good joke. Yeah.
I'm glad you could see past all your problems with
Mr. Hanna, Mr. Barbera. Mm-hmm. Well done on that one. The Whitman twins got to interview Joseph Barbera.
All right. Great.
For Kids Day.
Tim, we were talking about those big dinosaurs, the big herbivores.
Yeah.
You know what sucks about being a big herbivore? They were so big they had to eat almost constantly, consuming hundreds of pounds of plants each day just to stay alive. So like these big guys were basically like constantly starving and like eating all day as fast as they could and still being like, I can't get ahead of this. I don't know what's going to happen. I guess I'll just have to get up early.
Just be smaller. Right?
Yeah. I mean, some were. Not all of them were that big. I mean, I guess like all the big ones, they had to have been in places where there was a ton of shit to eat.
Right.
But somebody got screwed. Somebody got left holding the bag at the end. Like, oh, damn it. I'm the last guy. I'm Denver, the last dinosaur here. And, these big plants I used to eat, they don't exist anymore. Remember when I talked about that one episode, how, sharks are older than trees?
Yeah.
Still makes me think.
What does it make you think about? Sharks being older than trees, I guess.
It's just crazy to think that you couldn't catch a shark before, because what would you have made a fishing pole out of?
I mean, you can make things out of things other than trees.
Name one.
A steel beam.
They didn't have steel beams.
You don't need a tree to make steel beams.
You need a lot more, Tim. This is before the Steel Age. We didn't know how to do that stuff. I was looking up.
You could use. I was going to say a branch, but a branch comes from a tree.
Yeah, see, that was the first thing you went to. I was looking up some types of dinosaurs, Tim. Some of the weird dinosaurs. I wanted to talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, all right. Hey, it's a new segment that we're going to do every week called Weird Dinosaurs with Tom.
You heard about, I made some of my notes because I was looking up pictures of these dinosaurs. My note for the first one is just, durr.
What's this guy? I want to hear.
This guy's Therizinosaurus. This dinosaur had long scythe. Is that how you say it? Scythe? Like the thing the Grim Reaper has?
Yeah, I think it's scythe, right?
Scythe-like claws that reached up to 3 feet in length, originally thought to belong to a large turtle. See?
3 feet of like razor sharp.
Yeah, big long claws. But they thought it belonged to a turtle, and now they're like, oh no, it belonged to this dinosaur, and it used them for defense and also
deflating balloons.
well, and also to pull down tree branches.
Mm-hmm.
So we know this guy was around after trees, making a strange mix of predator-like claws on a herbivorous body.
You're gonna paint me as anti-science here.
But
how do you know he was a herbivore?
Well, that I think they can tell by like the teeth. I think it's mostly the teeth.
But what if you got those claws? You don't need the teeth if you got the claws.
I think you still need something.
You can mash it all up with your claws. You kill something with those claws, and then you just put it in a hole, and you just go to town on it. You make it mush.
Think about when Edward Scissorhands was trying to eat at dinner. Remember, he couldn't because he had those big scissor hands.
Yeah, but Tom, what I'm saying is, if he needed to eat, he would have shoved his face into the plate.
Edward Scissorhands?
He could have.
After like cutting up the meal?
Tom, he could have. Picture Edward Scissorhands going out into the backyard, right? Using his claws to dig a big hole.
Okay.
Dumps that meal in there that he was so struggling to eat, and just bashing away at that
Why do you
steak
have to dig
and potatoes.
A hole? Why don't you just put it in a bowl or something?
I'm just saying, this is what a dinosaur would do. He's cutting it, and then it's just mush in a hole.
Okay.
Then Edward Scissorhands shoves his face into the hole and just starts eating the mush.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of dirt though.
That's okay.
I don't know if these claws could cut up bones.
He's a fucking animal, Edward Scissorhands.
He really is. And I'm sick of people pretending like he's not.
Yeah. How did that even happen?
I think they explain it in the beginning.
Yeah,
Vincent Price did it.
I'm not interested in how this happened, actually, now that I think about it. Sick.
No, but they can tell by the teeth and like, I don't know, the digestive system.
It's not like connected to his central nerve. Like if they tried to melt down his scissors, would he be like, it hurts?
No, I think they could cut the scissors off. I think the scissors were like grafted onto him. But it kind of seemed like, are those just the gloves? Can he just take those gloves off and be fine?
Yeah.
We never got to see the bare hands and what they looked like.
Is that movie an allegory?
If it is, it went over my head. But yeah, so this guy sounds cool because he's got these big claws. But then when you look at the picture, it just looks like a dope with huge fingers. Yeah,
but how long was he? How many feet long was he?
He was
an herbivore, but he would have killed the shit out of you if you saw him on the street.
Look,
yeah, well, you're making fun of him. You're talking a lot of shit.
Somebody can kill me, and they still could look like a dope while they're doing it, and everybody would laugh.
Do you think that's why that Zodiac killer kept killing? Because people
maybe
you just look like a loser. You look like that bald character actor.
Is this in your little book, Carnotaurus?
Hold on, you mocked the book, so I put it away.
Tim,
it's a good book.
Let me
Roar a Dinosaur.
Let me tell you about this Carnotaurus story, and then let me tell you my pet.
Yeah,
pet
Carnotaurus.
Theory. Oh, okay. So this guy is like a T-Rex, Tim, but he's
on the page. Some dinosaurs walked on 2 legs.
Oh yeah. So he was like a T-Rex, but this dope had even shorter arms than T-Rex.
Yeah,
almost. He's got like hands, like little hands attached to his arm, to his body, and that's about it.
That thing where you put your arms inside your short
that's
sleeves.
What he looked like with a T-Rex doing it. Here's my theory. They didn't find like an arm bone, but he had bigger arms.
He must have.
Yeah, because you're looking at just like a child.
This is why Ross Geller Everybody knows it's full of shit.
Yeah, I mean, you see a guy like Ross, you see how busy he is in his personal life. All the scheming he's constantly up to and everything.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say that would have been one of my big problems with that show.
Loser with women, loser with putting skeletons together.
That would have been one of the things I was gonna say. My problem with the show is like, I think Ross would have like been working a lot more often. I guess he did work more than the rest.
Yeah, he
of
wasn't
them.
around a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he was around enough. He was still in the show. They never had a bunch of episodes where they were like, for realism, David Schwimmer's not going to appear for 3 episodes. He's very busy.
Yeah,
his character's very busy.
There was always a thing being like, David Schwimmer didn't want to do Friends because like he wanted to like go back to being a stage actor.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, but like then you like Friends made you famous, and then like you did a bunch of like bad movies, and why'd you do all that stuff then?
Yeah, he never went and was a stage actor. At
I
least
think he might
I'm
have
aware
been.
of.
Yeah,
I think he wasn't as good.
He might have been in the Steppenwolf company in Chicago.
Oh, well, good for him.
Magic carpet ride and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, you want to be a theater actor more. Like, I get guys and gals who are like, big theater. I want to be a theater actor more. I want to do more theater. Like, I get that. It's got to be more, like, rewarding to do. And especially when, once you get to a point where you're not as concerned, especially, like, after something like Friends, you would think, yeah, this guy's got...
Yeah,
he doesn't have to worry about money anymore.
You always say this in relation to the MCU. You're always like, of course that's what like an actor wants to do. And like, no, some people get into acting not to like be a movie star necessarily or a sitcom star. Well, they're weird and they just like to act.
Yeah,
like. How do you explain people being like, oh, what I really want to do is like act in Shakespeare? It's like, it's just a weird person then. Like, you want to say a bunch of words that nobody understands?
I mean, David Schwimmer isn't like a ripped enough guy to be a superhero. He probably would love to.
They put anybody in those things.
Well, yeah, once they give him their HGH.
Yeah.
They can turn anybody into a
He might be able to, he might be aging into the like, oh, I'll play a senator or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was very good in that OJ thing.
Oh, it's Robert Kardashian?
Yeah. I thought he had a great portrayal of like legitimately, not that I know what Robert Kardashian, what he was like in his personal life, but I thought his portrayal of like a guy kind of like, I should help my friend. Did my friend kill his wife?
He knows that he did. He disposed of the evidence.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it did a good job of like I mean, they didn't show that, right? I don't think so.
No, they didn't, because that's all speculation. But it obviously happened.
Yeah. I think they kind of hinted at like, he may have disposed of evidence. Not knowing it was evidence, but also not knowing it was evidence. Yeah. Just kind of doing...
Like when your friend who's accused of murder is like, hey, take this and get rid of this.
You're like, great, and I'm not going to look in the bag because then I would know what's in it. But if I just do this and, nobody can ever, get me on stand saying, I knew it was full of bloody clothes and a knife. And that's why I thought he did a good job of just kind of a guy who was like
Robert Kardashian.
No, I'm
siring all those ladies.
Yeah, who provide us with endless entertainment, Tim. No, I'm saying that.
I know David Schwimmer did a good job.
He did a good
Tom,
job.
I keep wanting to talk about dinosaurs, and you keep bringing it back to David Schwimmer and the OJ case.
Well, I mean, he's a paleontologist. I also have. I have 2 more dinosaurs I'd like to talk about. I'll do the plugs and I'll talk about these dinosaurs.
All right, hey, we're in no rush tonight, right?
If you like the show, check out tcgte.com for more. That has our Discord link, our subreddit link. Check both those places out. They're fun.
Hit up the subreddit. It's great. The Discord's been fun. I jumped into the Discord, Tom.
I bet that gave everybody a real big thrill.
Somebody asked a question about an editing choice I made last week.
Wow.
And I answered it truthfully and
to the best of your abilities.
Yeah.
Also, check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/complete guide, where you can get books to podcasts. This week, I'm wrapping up Hell House.
Hell House.
Yeah. So if you're like,
Richard Matheson.
Halloween month's over, I wanted more. Well, sign up to Patreon, because Halloween month's going this week and next week, as we're watching the 70s movie based on it.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/complete guide. Tim, let me tell you about this dinosaur called Anzu. Do you know what his nickname was?
Annie. What's his name?
Good guess. Anzu.
Annie.
No. His nickname was, and don't tell, what's his name? He just died.
Terry Garr.
No, Richard.
What are you talking about?
The guy who was in Mad About You.
Richard Karn?
No.
He's alive?
No, not Richard Karn. Maybe, no, not Mad About You. The one with Jamie Lee Curtis. And the guy from Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry's friend. Richard, the comedian.
Jeff Garland?
The guy
Richard Lewis.
Richard Lewis, the guy who did the Boku commercials.
Yeah.
I can remember Boku, but not Lewis.
Man, do you remember this Boku commercial where he's like, oh, this is great. Does the president know about this? Do you remember that line? Does the president know about this? I can't find that commercial anywhere. And somebody made somebody made a Richard Lewis Boku joke on Instagram, and my comment was, does the president know about this? And no response.
Sounds like the Mandela effect, Tim. Sounds like you might be from a universe where
you're from the same one, man.
Where there was an extra Richard. That was the only difference between the two universes. In this one, there was one more Boku commercial.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everything went exactly the same.
I said Richard Karn before.
Yeah.
It's Richard Kind. Richard
yeah.
Karn is Al Borland from
yes, of course.
Home Improvement. And Tool Time.
Well, the reason why I brought up Richard Lewis is because the Anzu was nicknamed the Chicken from Hell.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This bird-like dinosaur. Tim, I'm not going to read the description. I'm just going to tell you. This thing's a chicken the size of a small car. It looks insane. But it looks like a chicken that went through like a dinosaur. You know, the machine in the Super Mario Brothers movie where it can de-evolutionize people to turn them into dinosaurs.
The new one?
No, the original one.
I haven't seen either of
it
them.
Looks like they did that to a chicken and made it huge. It looks really scary.
Okay.
Size of a small car.
Yeah.
500 to 600 pounds. Good eating.
Sheesh. Yeah, but I mean, they're also telling us like, oh, all these dinosaurs might have actually been birds and had feathers.
Yeah. Well, this one did. It had feathers.
What, did they find the feathers?
Yeah, they found the feathers.
No,
they were stuck to the bones still. They couldn't believe it.
Oh. What a lucky find.
I could see them like a Jurassic Park happening because like Purdue is like, a 600-pound chicken, eh? Well, maybe we could just take a few of the genes and splice them into our chickens. And then all hell breaks loose. All of a sudden we got 5,000-pound chickens.
Well, I mean, if you did have a chicken that was a couple 100 pounds, then maybe I'd be able to eat a chicken Big Mac because I'd be like, well, there are less like souls leaving the earth.
Right, because it's just one big guy.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say like...
And if they're dicks.
Yeah.
They should engineer them to be dicks.
I mean...
you don't feel bad about them.
Most chickens are dicks.
I wouldn't say that, Tom. That's a terrible thing to say about a chicken.
Well, you don't know the chickens I know. I'll leave it at that.
You have one more dinosaur you want to talk about? Real quick, get him in under the...
I forget what his deal was. I think he just looked... I think it was just another guy that looked like a dope. Let me see. Oh, yeah.
Dinosaurs.
Intrios, and I just wrote next to this a real dope. This dinosaur had enormous arms, each reaching over 8 feet, tipped with large claws. Originally, only the arms were found, leaving scientists puzzled. Later, finds revealed it was a large humpback herbivore with a bizarre duck-like bill. It sounds like you found a bunch of random shit.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing.
Like, oh yeah, it was a duck with big arms that dragged on the ground.
Paleontologists have the best scam going.
Yeah.
We just eat this up.
Yeah.
Without any question. Oh yeah, I guess that's what it was. These huge monsters that lived millions of years ago. That
I guess there's no other answer. We should have in this been like, oh, we found a few dinosaurs. See if they make it into the papers. well, maybe next week.
See you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.